Race fans, here we go.
Great start down the front, straight away. It's going to be the 15 in. Neil Allison to the middle of the track. Look, low line look, and here comes the 20, Brecken Reese on the inside. Up to his high side, Frank Flood. Sam Johnson in the mix, as it's going to be Neil Allison leading lap number 1. Flood, Reese, Johnson, Snow, your top 5.
Brecken Reese right now dedicated right to the bottom, and just as I say that, he enters in the middle and rolls up to the top. But look at the 89 of KJ Snow. Snow up into the mix as well. Down the back straightaway, we battle for position. Right now, Sam Johnson around the outside. Oh no, KJ Snow upside down in turn number 4.
Contact as they came out of turn number 4.
It is. You still have 28 laps to get to the front. If you're back there in the back of the field, we're going to see what you got right now as we get back to green.
Back to green flag conditions. Neil Allison going to protect that lead up on the top side of Macon. Flood is there. Reese, Johnson, your top 4 kind of separating a little bit from the rest of the field as Sam Johnson kind of looking low. Everybody able to get through 3 and 4.
Drew Sherman looked like he was going to apply some pressure to Pio there, but now Miller applies the pressure to Sherman. That'll be back inside of your top 10 as we check back in up here on the race leaders. Frank Flood all over the rear bumper of Neil Allison as those two have kind of checked out from the rest of the field. And Neil Allison gets good enough to jump up in front of him. But look at Sam Johnson. Johnson throwing the slider there on Flood down the back straightaway. Again, here he comes into turn 3 and off of 4. Frank Flood able to clear him. Brecken Reese, Cannon Posey, they're all coming to charge up at the front.
Sam says he sees your slider, Brecken Reese, and he's going to cross you back over down the back straightaway. Bombs on both sides of the track because here comes Pio into the mix. Gunnar Pio up into 4th place. Brecken Reese back to 5th.
2 laps to the halfway point. Here comes Pio up across the nose of Flood. Flood going to cross him over. Tags the wall. Sam Johnson going to get by Pio. Johnson back to the podium. Pio slides up, tags the tail tank against the wall, and we keep on rolling. Holy cow.
Nearly like Flood knew it was coming. He played it to perfection. Now for the lead. Slider crosses him back over. Allison wheel to wheel. Flood pinned up to the high side. He's going to get some momentum. Diamond the corner for the lead by the flag stand. It's still Neil Allison, but Flood 1/10 of a second back off turn number 2.
And up to 5th now, Sokol. Sokol coming on strong. The Red Army is cheering from Colorado.
For the lead in turns number 3 and 4. Not quite there for Pio, as around the outside, Neil Allison keeping his foot in it and keeping the RPMs pegged up on the high side. Allison protecting the lead. Pio in 2nd. Reese, Flood, Brant Woods now going to move up into the top 5. Sokol, Miller, Langang, Soares, Sherman, the top 10.
We got drivers battling side by side, 3 wide. Big slide job coming for the lead. Contact across the nose, going to send Pio up around. Pio now going to fall back to 4th as Reese and Flood were right there ready to capitalize.
Oh, yeah, Brant.
Flood, now here comes Reese, a big slider across the nose. Flood almost checks up, tries to diamond, not going to work. Reese right back at him for the race lead as a caution right in front of your race leaders. Holy smokes.
Everybody keeps it going. How did Frank Flood keep that car going?
That's why Frank Flood's called the GOAT.
That's why Frank Flood is Frank Flood.
Van down the back straightaway. Neil Allison opens it up to 3 to 4 car lengths, but Flood going to come with the slider there on Brecken Reese. White flag is out just one more time around here for $10,000 to win. Neil Allison down the back straightaway. He's driven the perfect race so far, and out of turn number 4, Frank Flood will go flipping into a stop as the checkered flag did fly. The race is over, ladies and gentlemen. It's Neil Allison taking home $10,000.
Brecken Reese finishing in 2nd, and I believe it's going to be Brant Woods rounding out the podium placement.